Hey guys, welcome to another vlog. It's currently Tuesday and I'm kicking off the vlog with some announcements. First of all, my shop is closed. It's just a combination of the strike and tariff stuff together is making it harder than usual. During part one of the strike last year, I was using chit chats as a backup, but it's not really feasible this time for reasons I talked about at the end of the last vlog. But I'm going with UPS now. That's how I sent out a few orders. And if I can figure out how to get the UPS rates to show at checkout, I might reopen the shop. I'm inserting a clip here to say that I will not be sending anything else out UPS. All those packages I sent out the other day, well, my customers are getting their bills today, and it's absolutely outrageous. Because sure, we all know that the tariffs were going to be due, but the brokerage fees, which are the fees UPS is charging to clear the shipment, they're the highest I've ever seen in my life. A $20 order will be getting $60 or $70 in brokerage fees on top of the tariffs. Like, since when? Since when does UPS charge that much? And that's US dollars. Like, the brokerage fee is more than the value of the package, because typically the brokerage fee is like a flat rate, like a flat 15 or something, or it's calculated based on the value of your package. So if it's a really high value package, it might cost more, but this is literally more than the value of the package just for the brokerage fee. So I got a bunch of emails today and I'm refunding people's orders. Hopefully I get these packages back so I can at least put the products back on the shelf, but what a freaking mess. So now I will not be using UPS to send anything else out. We'll wait for the strike to be over if it happens, and that's it. Update, I just went through all the orders, and anyone whose order was shipped UPS, I refunded their order and sent them an email explaining, and I was like, you can still pay the fees and you'll still get your order, or just don't pay anything and refuse the package. But either way, I've refunded their order. So that's how that all went. In hindsight, I should have maybe just refunded everyone before sending everything out. Or maybe I should have gone through chit chats and paid the extra tariffs, because they were charging Chinese tariffs on Canadian made goods, which is a problem. Maybe I should have just paid that and it would have been less of an expense compared to this. But at least it's not a busy time in the shop, so, it could have been a lot worse. Like, if I just keep it closed for the entire duration of the strike, that'd be a pretty big financial hit, although it is a really slow time for my store, so I don't know. But the reason I'm keeping it closed as of now, for sure until the end of the month, is also because we have family visiting next week, and so that's also part two of the announcement. A second announcement is that there's going to be no more vlogs or streams for the rest of the month. Today is the last day, and I'll see you in June, I guess. Again, because the family visits. So I was like, well, because of the shop mess and because the family visits, just keep the shop closed till the visit's done, and then assess the situation and decide if I'm reopening with the UPS rates. Because as of yesterday, Monday, the union put in their 72-hour strike notice, so Canada Post is going on strike as of Friday morning. Unless somehow they come to an agreement between now and then, but I highly doubt that. They failed to come to an agreement for a year and a half now. I don't think they're suddenly going to come up with one that both parties are happy with. Baby, what are you doing up there? Anyway, no shop, no vlogs, no streams, nothing. And I've decided this t-shirt is going to be one of my painting shirts, because I have 2 of the bunny t-shirt and 2 of the ducky t-shirt. Because originally I was wearing size large, then I realized I liked the medium better, and so I ended up with 2. So I was like, why not make the size larges my painting shirts? Although it's a little chilly down here, so I have this on. I guess this is going to become a painting sweater as well. I feel like the acrylic is not that messy, but once you move on to oil, it doesn't dry, and so like, if it's on any surface, it'll get on you and it'll transfer and get everywhere. We're still in the acrylic phase. So now let's get on to the footage from yesterday, because I was working on the painting yesterday. So the painting is basically a bunch of hair and butterflies, and it's inspired by Melania from Elden Ring. And so I had to get started on mapping everything out. I do have a sketch in my sketchbook to go off of, but I was like, okay, time to actually transfer this to the canvas. So I did some swirls for the hair just to get a general idea of where that is going, and also started adding in the green background. And just kept going from there. So the background, like she kind of has a base of a bunch of gold butterflies that are almost solid. It's almost like a metallic butterfly base, and then a bunch of loose butterflies. So I'm trying to establish the background base first, but I don't know how much detail I want to go into yet because, again, this is just the background. There's going to be a bunch of foreground butterflies going in front of this, and I need to still add more hair. So I figured get the background in, then I can figure out where the butterflies are going, add some hair to fill in the space, and then maybe add some more detail to the background butterflies. I don't want to overdo it if it's something that's just going to get painted over. So making pretty decent progress here. I'm happy with where we're at. And so here's where I left off. That's the progress. And now today I want to get started on more of those foreground butterflies, mapping that out and adding in more hair and detail in general. I covered this because when I was painting and the brush would get to the end, it's kind of flinging paint. And I kept looking over here being like, did I spray this? Did I spray this? And I don't think I did, but I was just so nervous. So I covered it. The floor, I'm kind of just letting it happen if it drips, because I know I can scrape that off. It's salvageable. It'll take a little bit of elbow grease, but that's fine. I just didn't want to get it on the fancy furniture. This is getting some paint on it, but again, hopefully I can just scrape it off. This is not as fancy. And I ended up with lots of paint containers, and so what I did is I just covered them in a Ziploc bag with an elastic. This one was bigger, so I used a piece of saran wrap with elastic. And it looks like that worked to keep them nice and moist. They were also very watery, so they're not dried up. Paintbrushes, I cleaned them last night, so they're ready to go. So now I'm gonna look at this just for a basic idea of where some of the main big butterflies are gonna go, and I'm gonna outline them. I was thinking of maybe using a Posca pen just to figure out where they're going. Oh, and I successfully used up a lot of my small paint tubes, old ones I've had lying around. And all of these are empty. Two of the little ones are Mars Black, because I didn't buy black at the art store because I figured I wouldn't need too much of it. I'm just hoping I have enough here at home. Now moving on to this one. I also have these 3 blacks, so that's why I didn't buy any. I figured I probably have enough. You only need a little bit to darken a color. Going in with the big butterfly. So it's approximately down here. I need it sitting somewhere where it overlaps nicely with the hair. Although of course we could adjust exactly where the hair is. I need that butterfly to be like big. It's just paint, you can cover it up. It's just paint, you can cover it up. It's just paint, you can cover it up. Oh. We're getting into tangent territory. Plus, I feel like it can be even bigger. So let's just fully overlap this hair. Something like that. I still think that's smaller than my mock-up, but I don't mind that size. I've got a decent sized one coming in from the bottom here. Let's draw that in. Let's make it higher than that because I want to see the bottom wings a bit. Something like that. That one came out a lot cleaner. This one was lacking the forward lean and the wing shape just wasn't right. So I've redone it in a darker color. So I've made quite a mess on this one. Okay, we've got some butts. We got some butts on there, and those are at least gonna be some of the main foreground ones. Kind of hard to see this guy. He's there, he's there. Yeah, and doesn't mean there's not gonna be more foreground butterflies. There will be, but those are just kind of the main ones to keep in mind, I guess. So we need to add more hair now, but also clusters of the background butterflies that come in front of the hair and overlap it. I had a few individual ones overlapping a bit, but we need like clusters where the hair is covered. Okay, additional hairs are plotted in. Maybe I'll start filling in some of the butterflies and shading the hair. Okay, here's progress. A lot more needs to be done, but this makes me feel so good. Like, I see the vision, it's coming together. I can start getting a little more detail oriented. Now I'm taking a little break because it's time for lump removal. I'm getting 2 of the head lumps removed today, so I need to head out to that now. And I'm back. So this was the big lump. This was the smaller one. I got out the biggest and the third biggest, just based on placement. They let me pick. 2 are kind of on the left side of the back of my head, and so I figured those should come out together because then I can sleep on the other side of my head. Like, I just want one good side to sleep on, right? So right now, that would be this side. Even though I'm a back sleeper, but I'll tilt my head. But anyway, it went well. The nurse and the doctor were just so great and fun and kind of silly and like cracking some jokes or like complimenting each other. And I don't know, they were great. I highly enjoyed it. And yeah, Beeb, are you coming up? Okay, well, be gentle. So the little one, it required about 3 stitches, and then the big one has about 5 stitches and some internal ones. So I go back in 2 weeks to get the stitches out, but also get the other 2 lumps out. And I can't wash my hair for a few days at least, although they said I could at least rinse it under the water, just don't shampoo it, because there's a lot of blood caked into my hair. They bled quite profusely, and they had this little cauterizer thing they were using to zap the blood vessels. They were cauterizing the big one for like 3 or 4 minutes. It just kept bleeding. See, my hair's all crusty. That's all from the blood. It feels disgusting. And I have pictures of the cysts after they were removed. So close your eyes if you don't want to see them. They're like white sacks with a bit of blood on them. So look away if you don't want to see. But, okay, here's the first one. It was the little one. That was actually the second one to come out, but I'm showing the little one first. It's about the size of a pea. And then here's the big one, which is huge. I didn't think it was quite that big. Because the one that I got removed, by the way, you're safe to look now. You're safe to look. The one I got removed from the side of my head a few years back now, about 4 or so years ago, that one was a lot smaller once removed. Because I thought they were about the same size, but I can't really remember. I was like, oh, I think this one's about the same size. No, it came out looking twice as big. And the doctor said I have a big divot in my head now, where the big one was, but she said it'll go away. Yes, Kiki, I got a dent in my head. So that thing was really squished in there. Yes, you're so precious. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And I have an antibiotic ointment to put on. And they had a pharmacy in the building, which is super convenient for the prescription. Like their own pharmacy is part of their dermatology clinic. So that made it nice and easy. Ooh. Nice, easy process. Yeah. The big one is still numb right now. I don't feel it at all. The little one started stinging immediately after the appointment. But it's really not so bad so far. Okay, careful, careful. Well, you know what? Let me put in a little bit of footage from the weekend because on Saturday we drove to Invermere to go to my cousin's wedding. And that was such a gorgeous drive. I took some video on the way up, so I'll input some of that. Just such a gorgeous little place amongst the mountains. Just a town of about 4,000 people. I didn't get a good shot of the actual town because it's in a valley and I missed my chance to film it, but maybe I'll find a picture online and insert it here. But mainly my pictures are of the drive up there, and the area around Radium is really nice as well, which is right before Invermere. Most of the people there I did not know because they were from the groom side of the family and I'm related to the bride. And so it was probably like at least 80% one side of the family. So I'm glad I went there to help boost the numbers for our side. So we drove up the day of the wedding and then stayed just the one night and drove back on Sunday. So that was a lovely, quick little trip. Okay, time to flesh out the painting a little more. Where am I going next? The butterflies are still flat color, flat color. So they need a little more. The hair needs more. Everything needs a little more. If I'm gonna do more to the most backgroundy parts, I probably should do that before doing everything else in front, but I don't know. I'm scared of the background. I'm scared. It does need to lighten up a lot though. It's very dark down here. Because this is what it's technically like, okay? A bunch of metallic looking butterflies that almost make up a mass. Here you can see them a little more defined. This is the wing as a whole. So mine obviously has more hair and stuff in it and it'll be more colorful, but that's the reference that I'm roughly following. And then there are more butterflies around her before, like this. Yeah. Look. Whoa. Whoa. Butterflies all around. And there are some, like a lot of different colors in the butterflies, actually. Like we got purple, pink, green, yellow. Yeah, all kinds. I'm not going that colorful. I'm just trying to give you a better idea of what I'm going for. And I started so dark in the background because it's easier to layer the details on top in the lighter color by having the background darker to begin with. So I've been avoiding adding a bunch of detail, but I could go in and add detail now. Okay, these wings roughly sort of look like this, but I don't want to get in that much detail on every butterfly, obviously. Overall, I'm trying to keep the painting loose, but I can just keep this in mind when adding detail to the wings. It's now Wednesday. Sleeping was a bit of an adventure with all this. It was totally fine on this side, but as soon as I leaned my head the other way, it was not so nice. I got some fresh bandages on with ointment. I made a mess of the ointment back here because it was hard to tell what I was doing. I had a mirror that I was using to see into the mirror, and it was a whole thing. And Christian wasn't here. He was getting my tires changed for me on the car. Off with the winter tires, on with the regular ones. And so I made such a mess of the ointment. I was like, I'm not going to get this Band-Aid on there. So I just waited for him to get home so he could put the Band-Aid on for me. I need to buy some big bandages. These are the only 2 big ones I have. And honestly, they could be a little bigger. I might just get tape and gauze because the one back here is quite large. I don't think the fabric part of the Band-Aid's even big enough to cover the whole thing. I am also acutely aware of how much I flex my scalp now. Anyway, I will be getting to more painting today. Got the ducky painting shirt on this time. But first, I want to do a little something else. So I'm going to try to fix the lights that are upstairs in the living room. I have string lights along the curtains and they come on automatically in the evening. And one of the strings of lights stopped lighting up. And then about a month later, the second string stopped lighting up. So I went digging through my Christmas decor. I'm going to try to replace the fuses on them and see if that fixes anything. And if not, I'm going to replace the strings because I have a replacement to put up there that's non-Christmas lights. I mean, these are fine because they're on a white cord, so it doesn't look overly Christmassy, but I do have a replacement I could put up. So these are the lights. We have 2 curtain bars up there and they're wrapped around the secondary bar. And they come down behind the curtain to plug into the wall. Oh, that's probably an extension cord. I was like, there's no fuse box on here. It's way up here. I'm too short for this. Okay, changing the fuses did not work. Oh, that's sweaty business. Now for the new ones, I'm debating just twist tying them on because it's a lot of work to weave them through and the bulbs always catch on the bar. I just don't know if they're going to sit very nice if I do it that way. Like, it might look better if I do wind them around. One thing that does help is unscrew the far side of the small rod and then wrap the cable around the rod and then put the rod back. The corners are still a little trickier, but it helps if you just undo one side of the rod. Okay, the lights are up. I did end up winding them, and they'll probably look a lot better at nighttime, so I'll get a clip once it's darker. Here's the nighttime look. The corner lamp comes on with the automation when these come on, and I had a bit of excess, so I strung it along the mantle over there. Now up here I have these icicle lights, and that was just left over from Christmas, I think, one year, and I just thought it would look good to leave it up. But those have also died. I think it's just draped on the corners and then one twist tie in the middle. So that'll be easy to take down. It was on a smart plug in the corner, but the smart plug was misbehaving, and I almost wonder if that's what killed the light strand. Like, it would click and make weird noises occasionally. I was just scared that it was gonna self-destruct, and so I unplugged it. I've ordered a new smart plug, a different brand, and I'll have it tomorrow morning, but I think right now, though, I'll just replace the string light. I got this. So this is under cabinet lighting. I thought it might look good if I just put it on this ledge, like facing upwards, so it's stuck to this bottom part. So we won't directly see the light, but we'll see the nice glow of the light. Now I'm torn if I should connect these with these cables or these. These would make them essentially right next to each other. This, I could have a bit of a gap, but that's too much gap. I'm scared we'll see the cables. I might just do these and then stick the bar in the middle. It won't fill the full length of this. I could use one more piece, but not 2 or 3, so I don't think it's worth buying another set. I'll just see if I can make do with this. I mean, that's kind of good. That's not where they're gonna be stuck down. They're gonna be stuck down facing upwards. I'm just trying to see them. One more bar would be ideal, but I don't want to buy a whole new set for one more bar. I think I'm gonna leave it like that. The cable's nice and long. It can reach all the way to the wall without an extension cord. Okay, they are stuck down. Okay, they're all set up. The cable's running down the side, and I have the little button stuck here with one of the stickies, and then it's just going behind the cutting board. Now I just need the smart plug. And here's the light at night. It's not quite looking how it looks in real life. It doesn't look as bright in real life. I've actually got it dimmed quite a bit from its brightest setting, and it's a more yellow light in real life. It's just looking pretty white on camera. I don't know why it registers that one as being so white and not the living room ones. The living room ones look exact, but it's so nice and cozy. I love it. Now, I also have some patio lights. I'm not putting those out right now, but I have the lights and the hooks for the railing out here. I have some Christmas lights wound around it right now, but the white string just doesn't look that good. They do still work, so I'm gonna leave those out for now, but I've got my replacement for when I want it. These are bigger bulbs like this, and the string's black, the hooks are black. It'll look a lot better. Okay, back down here. I've got a couple of these for mixing some paints in. I'm gonna shade in some of the red right now, so okay, maybe a splash of orange and then darken it a little bit. Nice. It's now Thursday, and I just want to say some final words to close out the vlog. Yesterday's band-aids in my hair, bad idea. I had to take them off to add more ointment, and they were not coming off. It took forever. I had to use rubbing alcohol. I had to get Christian to do the one on the back side of my head. And so I'm so glad I ended up ordering gauze and tape instead of band-aids, because that stuff came in, and so that's what's on my hair now. And my hair's clipped kind of to the side. That's the do for today. Ta-da. That along with my pimple patches. Yeah, we're stylish today. So for today, I'm focusing on vlog editing, also cleaning the house because guests are coming, and I also want to run out and get some food, so I have to go out in public. I just realized. I thought there was something else. Vlog edits, cleaning, food. Oh, I wanted to paint my nails too, which will take quite a while. Got to do some fresh gel. This set really hung in there. There was not much lifting, but it's very grown out, and it's covered in super glue. From when I was gluing the Link statue together, I got super glue on them, and it stayed on there this whole time. So that's my day. Also, I was just checking my emails, and there was one from Chit Chats. They've introduced a new postage option for the US that doesn't require the prepayment of duties, because it's very unusual to prepay duties. I know with Americans, they're not used to paying any at all, but like the way it works here in Canada is typically you pay upon delivery, or maybe you'll get a bill later in the mail if it's FedEx, but usually it's payment upon delivery. And so Chit Chats was requesting payment of it in advance, but I hadn't collected that from my customers at checkout. There's no way to even make the Chit Chats rates show at checkout. And so I was like, I haven't collected this from the customer, so like I just have to pay it myself, I guess. But now they have an option, a DDU option, which is the duties unpaid. It's through their international service. Because like in Canada, there are 3 postage tiers. There's domestic, which is within Canada, then there's US, and then there's international, even though the United States technically is international. So they've added it to international. I don't know what the rates are like. I'm going to have to look into that, but I just thought I'd bring it up in case any other Canadian businesses are watching. Just trying to keep you in the loop, you know. I might have to draft a fake order just to see what kind of postage it's going to charge, because I'm assuming it's going to be more expensive than the Chit Chat's US Edge, but I don't know. I got to look into it. Because I'm filming this clip on Thursday. The strike will be in effect as of tomorrow. Canada Post did put forth an offer to the union, and so the union could accept it today. I'd be a little surprised, but if that doesn't happen, the strike is on. Can I just say, this matches my outfit, my catnip mug. I've got even the pink clip. I'm pink and green today. Anywho, those are the updates. And that's the end of the vlog. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So I got to redo the imports, but I'm trying to figure out why it wasn't working. So I was like, let me import just one order. So I found an order that has only one item in it, edit the info, and it turns out the only postage option it's letting me select is Canada Post. But Canada Post is going on strike. There's supposed to be a Chit Chat's US Edge